Welcome back. You're watching America Decides Campaign 2026. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm Major Garrett. Michigan Democratic Representative Debbie Dingell joins us now. Congresswoman, always good to see you. You know Michigan voters very, very well. We have no calls to make, as you know, but we have trajectories, both in the Senate Democratic primary and in Democratic primaries in the 7th Congressional District and the 13th District, where progressives in all three places seem to be doing well. What does that mean to you?
So, first of all, I hate labels, Major. It's good to see you after what's been a long day and is going to be a long night. And I think each of those races that you're talking about can be analyzed from a different perspective. When you talk about the Senate seat, first of all, we are waiting for a lot of numbers in the metro Detroit area. So we got to be careful. The only poll that matters is the poll on election night, and we've got to see those numbers. And I think they both ran very strong campaigns. Everybody has been saying that Abdul was going to win. I think we got to wait and see what happens tonight. The Detroit vote will matter, and it's always one of the last in. On the other two, I think they're very different circumstances. I think you're talking the Detroit seat, the other Detroit seat, and I think there are a lot of very complicating factors in that. Including how members are perceived, casework, known for delivering for people, and that a label doesn't work in that seat the way that you want it to. It's really based on people's works and performance and what you see. And in the 7th District, you had a three-way race. You had three strong candidates. But the candidate that's lived in that district the longest is the candidate that's ahead right now. He has been very involved and engaged in the district for years and is better known. So I think you got to be careful at overanalyzing the way that everybody wants to do and pitting people against each other.
You know as well as I do, Congressman, probably much better that tomorrow, whatever the results in the statewide race, the Senate campaign, the imperative for Michigan Democrats will be to find a path as soon as possible to unity. Do you think that's going to be possible?
It's got to be possible. I've been working it all day. And you know me, I stayed neutral in these races because I know the importance of pulling together. And people have been trying to pit us against each other all day. How can you go with someone? I think you're going to find that there's far more in common in all of these races than there are differences, and everybody knows what's at stake in November. And that when you talk about the issues that matter, that when you talk about, was an excellent economic analysis, by the way, of the state of Michigan right now. And people are hurting. And when you talk about groceries and gas and home buying and talk about a broken healthcare system, you tell me who's going to fight for the working people of this state, fight for those jobs, not going to be afraid to stand up and say, hey, tariffs are a tool in the toolbox, but chaotic tariffs are hurting our jobs here in Michigan. And I think people know what's at stake in November, but we got our work cut out and we got to do it in these next few days.
Congresswoman, it's Caitlin Huey-Burns. Good to see you. I want to pick up on that point about working voters in Michigan, because back in 2016, you were critical in your assessments of the party and their failures in your home state in that election. I'm wondering if you see any similar themes between then and now within your party, and any lessons learned that you think should be applied here in this go-round.
So I continue to say, by the way, it's not just a problem in my state. It's a problem for Democrats, period. We are still not getting those union halls back. And we need to go in and listen to those working men and women and hear what they're worried about and the issues that they want to see us talk about. And they're the issues that you just talked about when you talk about what's the economy of Michigan like right now. Too many of them have seen their jobs shipped overseas. They want to have job stability. They want to see those manufacturing jobs brought back to this country. They want to see trade policies. They want to see people care about them in the issues that matter to them every single day, like how much groceries cost, how much it costs to commute to work when you've got the price of gasoline this high, how they can't afford to buy a house anymore, especially young people. And we all have to do, you know, if you go look at the op-ed I did in the Washington Post the day after that election, you'll find it's got a lot of things that are very common to what we're talking about right now.
Congresswoman, before we let you go, you mentioned Wayne County, Metro Detroit. As I mentioned earlier, some of the analysis I've seen before this, about 30% of tonight's turnout could be African-American voters in Michigan, concentrated in Wayne County, Metro Detroit. That's why you're identifying this as an important place to keep an eye on and hold all of your powder about projections until those come in?
I think I do, by the way. You've seen the numbers. People were calling me and saying that this race was over an hour ago, and you've seen those numbers tighten. I think this race is going to be tighter than people think. And, I've got a really good political gut, as you know, Major. I, in 2016, said months out, Hillary's going to lose. I knew Kamala had lost. I just, my gut sees what some of these polls are saying. I think this race is tight. And let's see what the night brings. But then we got to all pull together, and that is very important.
Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it very much. Caitlin, thoughts?
It is very interesting because she was kind of the canary in the coal mine in 2016.
I remember being at the Detroit Economic Club covering then candidate Trump, and she pulled me aside. And she rolled her eyes and she said, all this Hillary stuff, it's in the bag. Don't believe it. There are real troubles here. I'm not saying Trump's going to win, but I'm saying there are troubles in Michigan. She pulled me aside in the summer of 2016. She was right.
She was right. And it's been 10 years now, and these issues are the same. It's amazing that, and this is, again, why voters are so angry, because they've been talking about this for the better part of a decade, and they're not feeling like anything has been done about it. These issues of affordability wasn't called affordability back then, but it's the same kind of thing. People are getting ahead, and I'm falling behind. You're seeing that theme over and over again. And I'm curious, though, I wanted to ask her if she does think that El Sayed could win in a general election, because that is also going to be the test in terms of Democrats uniting around him, and not all of them have said that they will.
No, they haven't.
Earlier today, I asked Chuck Schumer, who's the Senate leader, wants to be the majority leader, if he will endorse El Sayed if he wins, and he wouldn't answer, but said, we're going to win in Michigan. And that's kind of the refrain that they've been saying over and over again. But there is this concern about whether he can. His argument is, if you're speaking to voters, they'll show up and be enthusiastic to show up. It's an open question.
El Sayed told our Ed O'Keefe yesterday in his interview, electability is the proof on election day.
Yeah.
And if I'm outspent 7, 8, 10 to 1 and I still win, by definition, that means I'm electable because I can withstand a lot of outside spending, which is what I'm going to face if I'm the nominee against Mike Rogers.